There's nobody like Jesus. Won't you join in and sing with us? It's so to say, Ahuna Taswana na Jesu, Ahuna Taswana na Ye, Ahuna Taswana na Jesu, Ahuna Taswana na Ye. Jesus, Ageko Opana no Jesu, Ageko Opana na Ye, Ageko Opana no Jesu, Ageko Opana na Ye. Holy, holy, Lord, holy, holy, Mana, Jesu, Waka, Ahuna Taswana na Ye, Ahuna Taswana no Jesu, Ahuna Taswana na Ye, Ahuna Taswana no Jesu, Ahuna Taswana na Ye. Ageko Opana no Jesu, Ageko Opana na Ye, Ageko Opana no Jesu, Ageko Opana na Ye. Lift your hands, come on. Holy, holy, the people, Lord, holy, holy, the people, Mana, Jesu, Waka, Ahuna Taswana na Ye. There's nobody like Jesus.
And I bring you greetings on behalf of the Peace People's Assembly, y'all. I'm doing something in the world, trying to do a little
Yes.
how I do the thing in the world, bringing y'all love from the
Yeah,
assembly.
Shay.
What's up? I love you all. Thank you all for preaching my sermon already. This will be light work. This will be a time of remembering as we get put back together. What I'm sharing with you today is nothing you have not heard out of the mouths of a minister from Rise. The initial sermon I had kind of got all thrown up and shambled and messed around as we think about our dear young ancestor, Tyree Nichols. And so bear with me today. As we think about the sermon title for today, I don't have no official scripture. I don't have no official text. I'm doing something different. Sometimes you got to do something a little strange for a little change. And so that's what I'll be doing here with us on today. Bear with me. Sermon title for today, Don't Push Me Cause I'm, Or perhaps we could have used a sermon title of It's Pushback Season. Welcome to Pushback Season. Pushback Season. What we are witnessing, and we just gonna jump into it. We just gonna go. Like I said, y'all preached my sermon already. And here are some ways that we can stay committed to ourselves as African descended people, as believers in community, as followers of Jesus, and as we stay united in peace and love. You know, that's what I'm all about. When I say peace, everybody say love, peace, love, peace.
Love.
Hey, quick with it. And whoever that is, stay unmuted for me, just in case I'm talking good today. It would be nice to hear a little call and response, as I can't see you, but I'm gonna preach to you as best I can. What we are witnessing in our era, in this age and time, is the great cognitive decline. People's minds are distorted, and what we are experiencing is the aftermath of chaos not carefully crafted with the Creator. What we are experiencing on this earthly realm is fragmentation and distortion in the psyche of human consciousness. The moral standard by which we operate has been brought so low that we now live in the jungle. As we move through this wilderness experience, we are facing the challenges that we were never created to navigate. Psychologist Leon Festinger first described the theory of cognitive dissonance in 1957. According to Festinger, pardon me, whatever this name is, whatever, thank you for the wisdom. Cognitive dissonance occurs when people's thoughts and feelings are inconsistent with their behavior, which results in an uncomfortable, disharmonious feeling. What I want to let you know today, family, is that they've been pushing us close and closer and closer and closer to the edge. Unfortunately, in this day and age, we haven't quite done the work to, one, decolonize our very existence in America, to two, deprogram from said conditioning, three, embrace our cultural, spiritual, and earthly power passed down from generation to generation, and four, nor have we enacted said power into the world on a mass scale as a collective and united people of the global majority. What I'm talking about today aren't pretty poems and poetics about God's love and compassion for us all. It is a message on the role and duty of the African in America to get your mind right and recognize your power. They've been pushing us close to the edge.
Preach.
Number one, decolonize your existence. In doing the work of decolonizing your very breath, it means we sit with what makes sense for our people and what does not. It means we take time to process the ills of old time religion and how it has desensitized us to our own pain. We sit with the scriptures that have led to oppressive realities, not only in the White House, but in your Black House too. Means we do the work to parse through Eurocentric ideals and idols that have not served our people. We study the law and laws to decipher how we separate church and state and church and hate, so our young ones don't have to live through the same systemic ills and injustices we did. They've been pushing us closer and closer to the edge. Number two, what I need my people to do, decolonize your existence, right? Decolonize your existence. I know that it's a buzzword right now. It's a buzzword right now, but literally we've been doing this work for a decade now here at Rise, literally sitting with the faith of old and saying, well, we've got to impart and enact and activate a faith of new, one that combines reminds traditions of old as we reach back our Sankofa moments. We also sit in the presence. We be here now while also reaching to our Afro future. February is around the corner. After we've decolonized our very existence, it's time for us to deprogram from the conditioning. In deprogramming from the conditioning that has been forced upon us, we must identify the myths and half-truths that have kept us psychologically and physically bound. For some reason, there's a lot of scholarly discourse about the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament that remains inside the classrooms and walls of seminaries and institutions, never to see the light of day. There is a great cognitive decline occurring because some folks are acting as hoarders of knowledge and information because it benefits their way of living and has made them successful in a colonized mindset. But as I think about pastors who lead their congregants astray in order to capitalize off of their innocence and fears, I think of how white stupidity has infiltrated the minds of some of our melanated siblings, how we continue to keep ourselves bound in cycles of harm that do disservice to the masses while individuals get richer and people get sicker. I'm not saying nothing new today that you ain't already heard at Rise, but after we do the work of decolonizing our very existence, it's time for us to deprogram from the conditioning. As I think about the imaginary borders that they've put on us and placed us in, as I think about these labels that strip us of our identity and limit us from being who we are wholly and fully, we are wholly and fully acceptable to God. No matter what they say, no matter what they throw at us, no matter what the media tries to tell, no matter what the police enact upon us in brutal ways, no matter what that family member told you, family, I want you to deprogram. I want you to understand that you've been set apart and set aside for such a season as this. May the supernatural uprising within the collective be one that moves toward peace and wholeness in seasons of mourning and in seasons of celebration. They've been pushing us closer to the edge. It seems to me that America can't get no peace because America is addicted to violence. Whether you knew it or not, there have been 42 mass shootings within the first month of this year, and the month isn't even over. Cognitive dissonance leading us to celebrate kings that represent the fulfillment of peace on earth, while some continue to act out as wayward children on the planet. They continue to be big time bullies, not caring about the dignity and human life that we've been blessed with. We galvanize around high holy days, centralized around gift giving and posting of deep quotes while we uninvite correct thinking and action into our daily routines. Where is our humility? Not a humility that keeps us low or keeps our shine from being witnessed by the world, or a humility that says you are nothing, but a humility that says, I am able to correct myself. I'm able to correct others that are around me. I'm able to seek and receive correction without malice and attitude. Some of you got too much daggone malice and attitude, and God is saying, no more.
No more.
No more. No more. Spiritual gifts out the booty hole, but can't enact no accountability to nobody. can connect with the high heavens and spirit and see into the future and call people forth into their gifting, but don't got no discipline in your daily life.
Oh, Yan.
No discipline.
Can
Better preach this.
exegete the word and eisegete the word like none other, but can't sit your butt down to be good to people and right to people and show compassion to people. The Spirit of God is saying no more.
No more.
After we've done the work of recognizing we got to decolonize, after we've done the work of deprogramming, now it is time to embrace your cultural, spiritual, and earthly power. What I'm telling you today ain't nothing you ain't never heard preached at Rise before. This is a remembering, because this past weekend, some of us fell apart. Last year, February 18th, I found myself in the hospital bed looking up to the ceiling saying, oh God, this lesson again? But I didn't stay there. I said, dear Spirit, humble me so that I can correct myself. And I can move forward to be able to correct someone else. Because I sought and received correction from Dr. Maisha Handy, from Reverend Kanisha Billingsley, from my family members in FamVam, from my dear Ajani, from my dear friends here at Rise, from the dear leaders in the community, from Dr. Mama Itihari. I corrected myself. I embraced my cultural, spiritual, and earthly power. And I still struggle with the phrase Black Lives Matter. I struggle with the phrase. When will we move past needing to matter to our royalty, our dignity, our humanity, our beauty, our essence being recognized by those around us? We've got to see and speak into one another. As you embrace your cultural, spiritual, and earthly power, I want you to question how much Black lives matter to you. How much do you value your Black life? When I initially started thinking about this sermon and using this title, Don't Push Me, I'm Close, it was because life had been testing me and lifing. It was because I was tired of the push and pull of this dimension and this reality, because people all around me were showing their behinds and abusing me in ways that I could not imagine and could not believe. Some of you have been there, where the pain and abuse and sorrow has been too much for your finite mind to comprehend. I felt close to the edge.
Talk about it.
I felt close to that place of feeling lost, close to that place of invisibility, close to that place of perhaps I'll be overcoming forever. Today, I'm interpreting the words in this song as a rallying cry of a people who have gone through too much for too long. They keep pushing us. Understand, we are our ancestors. Not even their dream come true necessarily. I just want to stop it right there. We are our ancestors.
Ashe.
If that don't power you up, I don't know what will. We are the ancients, the ones sent to put things right side up. Often as we think about holistic living, it's mind, body, and spirit. I want to drop us a step further to enact humility into our daily lives as we stretch our concept of wholeness, as we add a W to the front of holistic, where we tap into eliminating and alleviating discomfort in a number of ways in our lives. Cognitive dissonance, where it's mind, body, spirit, emotional body, and structure. Emotional body and structure. Now, you've heard about mind, body, and spirit wellness. When I think about emotional body and healing the emotional body, we've got to be able to use our words and our language to identify what is going on and what is coming up. The label of stressed is not enough.
Teach.
The label of good is not enough. The language of highly favored is no longer enough. I'm saying we've got to do that root work of understanding our emotional body and our emotional minds so that we can enable full embodiment of peace and self-love that God would have for us in this season.
Ashe.
Labeling the hurt, labeling the discomfort, labeling the dis-ease, and calling it out for what it is how we will transform from one place of being to wholeness.
Ashe.
And when I talk about structure, right? Because I said mind, body, spirit, we know what that is, but also adding emotional body wellness and structure, focusing on structure in our lives. It requires a level of discipline mixed with humility that nobody is teaching about.
Support.
That you're not gonna get outside of Rise. People aren't talking about the structural element of your life that is necessary in order for transformation to be seen as you embrace your cultural, spiritual, and earthly power.
Talk, Yani.
Now, one, we've done the work of thinking about decolonizing your very existence, deprogramming your conditioning, embracing your cultural, spiritual, and earthly power that's been passed down from generation. Number 4, now I need us to enact said power into the world on a mass scale. Now is the time to activate our power as we shift our realities in real time.
All right.
We have overcome. Shifting our realities. Cognitive dissonance. Your time is up. No more will you confuse the minds of African people with the rich and royal DNA of the founders of the very universe. America wants us to live terrified and terror-filled, but this is our season of pushback.
Say it.
For too long, we have been pulled in the direction of evil and despair. For too long, spiritual wickedness in high places has come for the children of the Most High. Will you remember who and whose you are in the kingdom of God so that your mind can be ready for the pushback? Now is the season to collect the wisdom of the elders and the ancestors as our living libraries get closer to transition. Our living libraries are getting closer to transition. And I'm not just talking about our elders. Some of our young living libraries are transitioning. Whose story will you accept?
All right.
Whose story will you study? Whose life will you learn? Our children are trying to teach us something and show us the way.
Ashe.
Who will declare our victories and our wins? Who will speak of Tyree's art and Sandra's smile and Brianna's love and Aubrey's athleticism and Malcolm's heart and Martin's real message and Katie's canon and Nia's freedom and Baldwin's childhood and Jarina's first sermon and your work in the world and all of our collective genius as we decolonize our faith, as we deprogram our conditioning, as we tap into our ancestral power and wisdom, as we push back on all that has been enacted and imparted on us unjustly, unfairly,
Pushback.
inhumanely.
Pushback.
Push back.
Pushback.
Push back. Push back and protect your precious mind.
Ashe.
Some of you are watching the wrong things,
Ashe.
listening to nonsense,
Well,
engaging with those people that are doing you harm, running you into the ground,
well,
don't got no wisdom and insight and direction for you.
well.
And you loving them, just loving it, loving it, loving it. How will you value your Black life? Moving forward, it's time to push back.
Time.
We must release the former in order to activate the new. I read a quote that said, like water, which can clearly mirror the sky and the trees, only so long as its surface is undisturbed, the mind can only reflect the true image of the self, capital S self, when it is tranquil and wholly relaxed. I wish I would have wrote that. Like water, which can clearly mirror the sky and the trees only so long as its surface is undisturbed, the mind can only reflect the true image of the self when it is tranquil and wholly, WHOLLY, relaxed.
All right,
Today
hold it.
may not be the most exegetically correct with the most hermeneutical respect, but sometimes you've got to do something strange, like I said, for a little
Good,
change.
Yanni. It's all
A
right.
little bit of change.
Sometimes you've got to recognize the ways you've been bound to poor theology and bound to a format and bound to an order of service and bound to that same person showing up in different bodies and bound to religious spaces that reject you and bound to family members that don't love you and bound to that saboteur in your mind. I came to stop by Rise Community Church today to let you know it's push back season.
It's a season.
Hiya.
Ashe.
Hiya.
When will enough be enough? How long will you sit in the pit of the underbelly of whiteness and the subsequent illnesses that come as a result of its pervasiveness and wickedness in the world?
Well.
We will no longer wrestle with the question of, is my Black beautiful?
Well.
Does my Black matter?
We will no longer wrestle with the question, does my Black matter? Thank you.
Ashe.
We will no longer wrestle with, am I a person too? Language limits the expression of just how wonderful it is to exist beyond the expanse into infinite waters of the deep. Remember, womb well water. It was abundant and nutrient. Too long we've forgotten the ancestral power in our very makeup and DNA.
Say it.
That supernatural power that gives us access to the spirit, to transform and alchemize and change and shift and be that agent in the world.
Well, well.
Be that agent in the world, to be that agent in the world, both supernatural because of the ways of spirit and supernatural because of Black.
Say it. Show it.
Come on, Black Rising.
B. B. B.
Some of us were born into this earthly reality, sent on a mission to be the presence that this planet pleaded for and needed more of us. Life-giving is what they call us.
Ashe.
Because even when circumstances attempt to push us,
That's good, Yani.
push us, they've been pushing us.
Yeah.
Close to the edge.
Yeah.
But just like Jesus, just like phoenixes, just like me,
just like you,
we gonna rise and rise and rise again.
Ashe.
They
Just like you.
Just
listen.
Get like me, family.
Ashe.
Get like me.
Like you.
Because let me look, I was on my way out, but get like me.
Stay
Still
there.
here.
Stay there.
When I got sent into that hospital room, when the day of,
well,
it was almost like a scene from 2016 when I was in Atlanta shooting that commercial for ESPN. I took my medication. This was February 18th, 2000, just last year.
Tell it,
Tell
Yana.
it.
Tell the story.
I took my medication after having gone to the chiropractor. I was doing everything I was supposed to do for my body, to take care of myself, to speak to those 5 elements I talked about: body, mind, spirit, emotional body, and structure. I thought I was doing the right things.
Okay.
I thought I was living holy, family. But that day I took my medication. I call them my lifesavers, right? We got to shift our language to make it make sense for our reality. Never didn't like taking medication before. So I had to say, well, how am I going to do this so that it makes sense, so that I can stay on the planet and it also aligns with my thinking and how I want to show up in the world. So my lifesavers, I took my lifesavers that day after leaving the chiropractor. And as I'm driving on the highway, cruising in LA traffic, I'm sure I was sitting for a while. And as I was sitting, I began to vomit and I began to throw up. And I was almost alarmed because that's not something that I do normally, right? But as this was happening, I literally had the humility in that moment to correct myself. It had only been a matter of minutes where I got the revelation that, uh-oh, Yani, something in your life is not right. Something in your life is going awry. There are some places and spaces where you're experiencing a great cognitive decline, where you haven't quite decolonized your existence, where you haven't deprogrammed enough, where you haven't embraced your cultural, spiritual, and earthly power, where you have not enacted this power into the universe and into the atmosphere, because now you are throwing something up. If there's one thing I know, family, it's about what happens when toxicity builds up in the body.
Well,
that's one thing I know full well.
Listen here.
But the reason I say get like me is because surely I am shining and glowing and healed and whole on today, almost a year to date of my collapse.
All right.
My God.
I talk now a lot about healing my cells, but also healing my capital S self.
Say it.
We have the programming within us and in our genetics and within our very makeup, within our spirits, within our minds, within our collective consciousness of how to be well,
Yes.
of how to transform, of how to go from one place to another. How we don't have to sit in chaos and confusion and nonsense for too long.
That's right.
Some of y'all need to let that lover go. Let him go. Say goodbye.
Uh-oh.
5 minutes after we get off this call, right now, if you know that you need to let somebody go, pick up your phone right now and send that text message.
Them spirits say it.
No.
Let them go.
Do it now. If you know that there's a family member that ain't been doing right by you, line up the text message right now. Line up the email, the letter, the whatever you got to open up the tab. Get the email ready to go.
Teach.
Those of you that you know at work, they've been disrespecting you and they've been coming foul and ain't been, if you know that it's time for you to get a raise, open up the tab, get it ready.
Get it ready.
We speak in life more abundantly today, family. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. They've been pushing us closer and closer to the edge, but now it is push back season.
Push back. Push back
We've been
season.
prepared.
Happening. It's happening today.
They're yanking our siblings up out of here prematurely. I speak against and I come against premature death.
Against it.
Yes.
A white pastor asked me once if he could preach this sermon, don't push me because I'm close to the edge, because he wanted to talk about marginalized people and how the world has. No, sir. You better shut your mouth.
That's right.
Well, now.
We're not taking nonsense no more. The faith has been decolonized. He wrote that for us. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five wrote that for us to speak to our stories and our realities and what we will not allow anymore.
Ashe, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. Say it.
If there's an elder within your life and your community that you know you have not reached out to and you've been meaning to reach out to them, get the text message open right now. Go pull their number. Go line it up on the phone.
Line it up.
There's
Do the
some
work,
things we
Yani.
have to do, family, to get right.
Do the work, Yani.
Ashe.
Make it plain, make
Ashe.
it plain.
Get right.
Some of y'all within this past year, y'all been acting out. Y'all showed your butt a time or two to somebody. It's time to ask for forgiveness. It's time to clear it,
Uh-oh.
right? We getting our minds right. We
Mind,
getting our hearts right.
hearts,
You want to keep your spirit right?
spirit.
Time to ask for forgiveness.
Ask for forgiveness.
Time to ask for forgiveness.
Do the work.
No more of this bypassing. We're done. We're growing up.
Growing up.
I want to do this thing called preschool for parents.
Ashe.
That's all about play, all about fun, all about
My
parents.
God.
Yeah.
But what I
Wow.
want y'all to recognize is that we're the parents of the planet now. We are the parents of the planet. We are the
My
parents
God.
of the planet, and it's time for us to step into our rightful calling, our rightful places, our rightful assignments.
Ashe.
My God.
The design has been laid.
Say it.
Our leaders are going to keep coming up in here talking about the same thing every damn week. And we're not doing what we need to be doing.
Mm-mm.
Talk about it.
I believe Kaylile gave us the assignment of reaching out to people last week.
Ashe.
That needs to be a weekly assignment. When
Ashe.
spirit drops a name in your spirit, in your consciousness, reach out to that person. It don't always have to come in a dream and some deep something, something, something. Y'all forgot what community does. Go see about somebody. Go check on somebody.
See about somebody.
Y'all want to give certain assignments to certain people. Oh, that's what they do because that's their the title and their da-da-da. And that no, we're coming to this as a circle family all together. A
Circle,
circle family. There's no head. There's no.
circle, circle, circle it, Yani.
Ask how much do you value Black lives? Are we still, is that our chant? Black Lives Matter? That's all we got for one another? You matter. No. Oh, Justin, you are a beautiful human being and you changed my life with your hospitality. Reverend Dr. Maisha, Umi, Kariamu, Handy, ... etc. Names go on for days. Your work in the world has shifted the very trajectory of my entire life, and I thank you.
Ashe.
Baba Coleman, when I first met you, up in San Francisco in Marin, one of the only Black specks up there, you came talking about, because Dr. Noel had passed, my spiritual father had passed, and then here you come on campus and I'm like, wait, what?
What?
This is how they break it down, African spirituality and religion and traditions
Say it.
up in the world.
Up in the world.
Ashe.
We more than matter.
We more than matter.
And we've done our good work, family. But it's time to say bye to the things of old, the ways of old. Behold, we have all become new creatures. All of us.
Mm,
All of us.
mm.
So get your minds right.
Ashe.
I'm not saying we don't grieve.
That's right.
I'm
Grieve.
not saying we don't process our emotions. I'm not saying we don't sit in the weight and the depth of all that is happening to us. But also let us remember we are our ancestors.
Ashe.
We are our ancestors.
Ashe.
And I love you.
I love you.
Love you.
Nina
I love-
kupenda sana.
Yani, thank you so much. Thank
So
you.
good.
So much.
Ashe.